Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know
Hey,
what it
Nell,
is.
play that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know, man.
Get that money, man. Get that money. Take to the house. Ain't no fuck that shit in
Easy money, easy money.
Easy.
Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock on wood,
said,
knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
you gotta put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're
last.
last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. Host with the most. Got my dog Chris, my dog Kim, and we got a special guest today. Got my little cousin Devin on. Go ahead and say what's up to the I Need a Sports podcast family, Devin. Go ahead and say what's up, man.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Okay. How old are you? So give some context to the fans. 15. Crazy. I remember when you was in diapers, boy. I'm old, but yeah, man, got my little cousin on to talk some hoops. He's been dying to talk some hoops. You see his journal in front. He got some notes ready to go. About to get at it, man. Last time y'all seen us was the first in-person episode. Recorded some playoff predictions. We're now officially through the first round. Second round started this past weekend, so we're a little late on that. We're gonna give y'all some second round predictions, talk about the first round, and talk about now that we down to 8 teams, who's the real contenders and who's pretenders. But to start off with, man, probably it was an upset and the most upsetting thing to see, man. First seed in the East, top dog, my NBA champ. I think Chris had him 2. Kim, you had him in the finals. You had him losing to your Lakers. I think Tony had him in there. Everybody had the Bucks winning. And yeah, Giannis got hurt, missed games. What was it? He missed most of game 1 because that's when he got hurt. Missed games 2 and 3. But he played games 4 and 5. And yet, playoff Jimmy and the Heat got him out of there in 5. 4-1. 2 insane comebacks. That 58-point game by Jimmy, then turns around, has 42 and to seal it. And then the press conference afterwards happened. Porter, asked Giannis if the season was a failure. And in the heat of the moment, I give him props. He gave a good politically correct answer. But he said, it wasn't a failure, but I feel a little differently. I don't know about y'all. So that's the first question on deck. Was this Milwaukee Bucks season a failure? And how much blame does Giannis deserve? I'm going to swing it to Cam first because I know he got some strong opinions. How you feeling about this, Cam?
First of all, I just want to say, if anyone's watching, if you haven't seen the interview, please go see it because that's probably one of the greatest post interviews I've probably seen maybe ever, man. I mean, I feel like that was such a great answer that he gave, and I'm gonna say no. It wasn't a failure because, like he said, in sports, some days you have good days, some days you have bad days. Some days you win, some days you don't. I mean, that's how sports is. I mean, we all know, we've been through, sports and whatnot, or whatever. But I'm gonna say no. When you think about it, man, these guys are making generational money. Like, this is generational wealth for them. No season can be failures to them. They're so rich. It's like, bro, like, oh, I lost. Let me go home to my big ass mansion and all these fancy cars, foreign cars that they have. So no, it's not a failure. Giannis, he got him one. If anyone likes it or not. So anything he does now, look at like the the Jordan lovers, LeBron haters, the stuff like that, they don't even count what you do in the first round, second round, or whatever. They don't count none of that, L's or anything like that. They only count whatever you do in the finals. So I feel like if they doing that, then whatever you do, beyond that, I mean, it essentially doesn't matter. So I say the season wasn't a failure. I don't think you can put any blame on you. Even if it was fair, I don't think Giannis should get any blame, really. Because he got hurt or whatever. And at least he came back. At least he came back and played, unlike Kawhi, he sat out or whatever. But yeah, that's my stand on that.
Okay. We're gonna swing it. We're gonna swing it to Devin next. Devin, how you feeling about this? Giannis, I mean, pretty much regarded as the number one player in the league. Bucks the number one team in the league all year. Home court advantage. Yeah, Giannis missed 2 games, but is this season a failure?
Not at all. They only had 24 losses this season, number 1 seed, and this year they just came up short. That was it.
Okay. But to lose to an 8th seed Heat team who really, the Heat were almost not even in this play-in. They shot the 4th worst field goal percentage all season across the league. And then the way they lost, even then, they blew 2 15, 20-point leads in the 4th quarter back-to-back. And you still don't believe it's a failure?
Not at all. Like Cam said, like you have good days and you have bad days, and the Heat just had their good days.
Okay. Chris, how you feeling about this one?
Okay, look, the season itself wasn't a failure, and I don't think you can blame Giannis at all because he basically played most of the season without his counterpart in Chris Middleton. Which I talk highly of Chris Middleton, but let's be honest, he ain't Klay Thompson. Feel me? Like he ain't James Harden. He ain't the guy that's when you out the game, he gonna give you he can give you 40, but do we expect it? No, not always. Were the playoffs a failure? Hell yeah, the playoffs were a failure. It wasn't Giannis's fault. Honestly, I would blame that. I would blame that on the front office, honestly. Because I think they got real complacent with Giannis. You got a guy who can go out there, get 40 points, get 10 rebounds, get 3 blocks, 6 assists any night he wants to on any team he wants to do it against. Best player in the league, best player in the world by far at the moment. But I wouldn't blame it on Giannis. I think his post-game interview was really well said, but it still was a failure. I mean, you have to look at it the way he looked at it as an athlete. Otherwise, you're just going to beat yourself up the whole offseason. But it was a failure. You lost to a play-in team. You lost to a team with a guy who, don't get me wrong, Jimmy Buckets gets buckets, but you're the best team in the league. You're not supposed to lose that game. You're not supposed to lose that series. So the season itself wasn't a failure. They did very well in the season, the regular season. But in the playoffs, they failed, bro. They had the highest chances of probably winning a championship. And I think everybody expected them to win that championship, and they didn't.
Okay.
Failure.
Well, Chris, you half right. Cam, Devin, y'all both straight up wrong. When did we get this soft in sports?
That's what I'm saying.
When did we get this soft?
How's that soft?
This is what I'm talking about. I'll give people their props, but I'll be objective when I give them their props. We regard this man Giannis. Y'all know I did not like Giannis, and then he proved me wrong 2021. Came the best player in the league, finals MVP, finals champ, all of that. Last year, we give him a pass because he didn't have Middleton. He still took Boston to 7, almost won that game. Had a great game 7, just couldn't get done. This year, yes, the season was a failure. The playoffs were a failure. And he deserves 75% of the blame for losing that series. I get he was injured, but it was a bruised tailbone back. He came back and had a triple-double. If y'all watched that game 5, Giannis went 10 for 23 from the line. They had Giannis so scared at that when they accidentally called that foul on Kyle Lowry that got reviewed and they overturned it. So they went to the jump ball. Giannis was so scared to have the ball in his hands in the last seconds. He almost threw the ball away when it got tipped to him, trying to give it to Chris Middleton too quick, and almost went out of bounds. And that's when they got it to Drew Holiday, who then slack on Drew Holiday because he got cooked by Jimmy all series. Drew Holiday goes to the line, misses a free throw, has a chance to put the game up by 4 or up 3, and he fails to do that, leaving it to where Jimmy could get the inbounds play the next possession and tie it to send it to overtime. But Giannis, if he's the best player in the world, like we say, you can't give up a 20-point lead. They did it in game 4. Give him an excuse for that. First game back, whatever. That's in Miami. Game 5 at home, up 20 again in the clutch, and he goes completely stagnant. Scared to get the ball because he knows they're going to foul him. He's scared to go to the line because he doesn't want to choke at the free throw line. And then, like I just said, Drew Holiday getting absolutely cooked. He says in the postgame, I wish, I would have got the opportunity to guard Jimmy. You're Giannis Antetokounmpo. You tell Budenholzer, I'll get him. After watching Jimmy cook you for damn near 100 points in the last 2 games, Giannis got to take that on his chest and be like, yo, you know what, Drew? You a world-class defender, but obviously it's not working right now. Let me get Jimmy Butler and live with the results. He doesn't do that. He doesn't take the last shots, how we always say, Chris Middleton is there to bail him out. At the end, we saw that again. Only difference is he wasn't able to get bailed out this time. Even when they went to overtime, Giannis stopped looking to score. He was just giving the ball up, and he was basically just a statue on offense. Like, stay away from me. That's unacceptable. If we're going to call him the best player in the league, he got to get judged by the best. If LeBron would have put that performance on in a closeout game, whole media would have been tearing LeBron a new one. To this
everybody
day,
hates LeBron.
20.
Everybody hates LeBron. Nobody don't really hate Giannis like that. Only Harden fans hate Giannis.
How does losing a playoff series make the season? Are you grouping the postseason and the regular season?
Yes,
together?
if they did that, if the only way.
So was the season a failure for the Kings?
No, because they were up and coming. Like, they hadn't made the playoffs since 2003.
That's double standard. No, that's double standard.
That's not a
no. That's double standard.
Context.
No. That's double standard because now you have to say
it's not.
Yes, it is. Now you have to say whoever doesn't win the finals, that's a failure of a year.
It's not. Did I say they had to win the finals? I said they just lost in the first round in 5 games to the 8th seed. That's a failure. Stop sugarcoating it.
Okay,
so failure.
What the Kings did was a failure.
The Kings hadn't made the playoffs since 2003.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It does not matter.
The level of failure to
say one thing and then
it was a higher seed too.
Okay.
It was a high. I'm just saying.
The Bucks were the number 1 team in the NBA, and they just lost to a play-in team, like y'all just said. Yes, you can say the Kings is a failure to a degree, but no, it's not the same level of failure.
I'm not saying
it's not a still failure, though. It's still failure.
I'm not saying he failed because he didn't make the NBA Finals. I'm saying he failed because he just got whooped in 5 by an 8 seed. That's a difference than losing to the defending champs in 7.
They still lost. They still going home at this. They still going to Cancun.
I can't believe y'all acting like this.
No, but like think about it though.
Y'all acting totally different. That's a failure of a season.
They had a great regular season.
Who cares? They are.
But you just said the Kings. You just said the Kings.
Did you think the Sacramento Kings were real NBA contenders to start this year?
Cam did.
No, he didn't. None of us had them in our playoffs.
We did.
Okay, so they already surpassed that. When they got to the playoffs, did you think they were winning? Because I didn't. I know you did.
I did.
Cam did.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, they are a really good team. The Kings
they're a good team, but did you think they were real contenders for a second in the West? No, you didn't.
Yes, I had them
losing. You had them losing to the Lakers the next round. We all had the Bucks.
Honestly, because I got the Lakers winning the championship. So yeah, I'm gonna have them losing.
Okay.
But I'm saying
We
like
all had the Bucks in the championship.
no, okay.
Besides, even when we got to the playoffs, that's a failure.
But what I'm saying is, I can see the Kings. I could have seen the Kings beating everybody in the West and still making it. That's why I had them part of my 7 teams to make it to the finals. Like I can see any of those 7 teams making it.
I just don't see how it's a failure on the season.
Because what I'm not saying the regular season is like, oh, it's a fair, but after you did all that to come and lose the way you did,
that don't make the season a failure.
Yes, it do. For them, it's
playoff series. They had a great season. They was number 1 in the East,
and it was a failure.
Season.
They squandered an opportunity of Giannis in his prime with a healthy roster to make the NBA Finals. That's what they just did.
Yes, in the postseason.
That's a failure. What are we talking about?
Because you're saying that the question was, is this a failure for the season? They had a great season. They had a great regular season.
It was a
they
failure. They
failed
still
in the playoffs. You cannot say that the Kings didn't have a failure in the season.
Okay, so are we not holding Giannis to a different standard or not? Because we can't call him the best player in the league in one breath and then not condemn him for going 10 for 23 from the line and a closeout game.
He got his ring. It don't matter. He
got his ring. Yeah, he did.
By himself.
Differentiating that
he did not get it by himself. He
was the lead. He was the lead.
He was the lead player, but I'm saying they played great. He had that same team, and he just lost to a Jimmy Butler-led team who I just said they shot the 4th worst percentage all year.
But that's what Giannis is saying in his interview. It happens. You have good days.
Yes.
You have bad days.
Okay.
You just so happen to have a bad day. Like
okay, and so it was a failure. We will look back and be yes, it will. Yes, it will. And because of that, my last point before y'all started with this BS, his spot for number 1 player in the league is up.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it. Okay, if Jokic wins a championship this year, does he not have a right to say he's the best in the league after winning 2 MVPs in a row? Does Embiid? If the Sixers win, does he not have a right? If LeBron somehow clutches and wins a championship in year 20, if Steph repeats, they have the argument.
They have the argument.
We were giving Giannis the bragging rights because he won the championship and he lost last year with injured team. I wouldn't.
You'll be dead ass wrong if you try to argue any of those guys other than Giannis. Because right now we know Giannis. You can look up his stats right now, and you can argue that he should be MVP every single year. That's LeBron. That's LeBron James status.
Embiid, the only one that I feel like could have that argument.
LeBron got that. LeBron, the only person you can defend, because we've watched LeBron do this for 20 years, and he's got 4 rings. Giannis has 1. Okay, yes, he can be the greatest player right now, but when we're talking about legacy, he's gonna need multiple championships. If he ends his career with 1 championship, that's a failure. Obviously, he's got a lot more career left.
Failure.
Yes.
If he won 1 championship
for his caliber of player.
Oh my God.
No. Why are we moving goalposts now?
I do agree with that.
No. Do you know how hard it is to win a championship? Do you know how hard it is?
Cam, he's not a regular player anymore.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, look at the Charles Barkleys, look at the Carmelos, look at the CP3s.
And we talk about them as being failures.
Those are failures.
I know, but I'm saying is they never got to that. They never got to that point. At least Giannis won.
What's another good player who only got 1 chip?
If he only gets 1 chip, yes, it's a failure.
That's not a.
What's another good player who only got 1 chip?
That's not a failure at all.
Aaron Rodgers. What do they say about him?
Oh,
he's not a failure.
Exactly.
He's not a failure at all.
And they really in the same boat.
Yeah,
they have great teams in the regular season, and they've come up short in the playoff. Giannis he's come up short in the playoffs every year except for that 21 year. And I'll give him his props. He earned his credit that year, but now he's got to replicate that and defend that. You can't go out in round 1 to a play-in team in a game where you shot 10 for 23 from the line when we gave him all the credit in the world in game 6 of the finals in 21 because he made 17 free throws.
In 20 years, when we look back on that, we're not going to give a about about the Bucks losing in round 1. Nobody gonna care about that. We
Yes,
care
we
about
will.
no, we will not. We will care about what you did in the finals. Period, point blank. Because what does everybody say about
He gotta
LeBron?
make it back there, don't he?
What does
So you can't
everybody?
be losing in the first round like that, right? If
No,
LeBron would have lost to Memphis,
nobody
he
would
would have
care.
got killed.
Nobody would care because the only thing they care about is what you do in the finals. What's that finals record?
If LeBron would have lost to Memphis, they would have been said,
So
he's now lost 6 finals. And like y'all said, Jordan lost in the first round. Now Bron has lost in the first round.
Answer this question.
Cam, how do you get to a championship?
Do people not bring up NBA finals records more than they bring up first round exits?
Cam, it depends on the conversation of players.
Answer the question.
You can't ask a dumbass question like that with no context.
How is that a dumb question?
We talk about finals record.
Everybody brings up finals record. Period. Point blank. Nobody cares about.
We talk about finals records when we're talking about Jordan, LeBron, and Curry.
You talk about finals record with everybody.
How are we going to talk about finals records for people who haven't made it?
Because
we talk about they can't make it to the championship. Therefore, a playoff series where they choke, it matters, right? Right? Exactly.
But didn't you just say Giannis is in that group? So why would we talk about Giannis without the?
I'm saying he's trying to be in that group. You got to win championships. You can't lose in the first round to an 8 seed. Has any of those other players done that?
Yes. Yes.
LeBron lost the 8 seed?
No, Jordan got swept. Jordan got swept.
Was his team the best that year?
It don't matter. It's still Jordan.
Dude, Giannis was first seed in the East. Stop acting completely stupid about it.
So what's worse, getting swept or losing in 5?
Getting swept with... It doesn't matter.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Were the Pistons not the champions?
Answer the question.
They both losing.
Answer the question. What's worse though?
You acting stupid on purpose and you saying dumb shit.
What's worse?
You saying dumb shit with no context, so I'm not answering your stupid ass question.
How's that no? What's worse?
It's a stupid ass question. That's what it is.
Obviously,
Giannis the first seed or not?
Obviously,
he don't want to answer.
Obviously, getting swept is worse. But at the end of the day, though, it's still losing. It's still losing. And that's worse overall.
If you are number 1 seed and you choke 2 20-point leads back-to-back games,
that's bad.
And one of them being at home, I don't give a you lost in 5, you might as well got swept.
But in 25 years, we will not talk about that. Just like we don't talk about that for Jordan. Just like we don't talk about that for Jordan.
I'm still be talking about it.
Only your ass is. Nobody else is.
If Giannis don't win no more,
the only person that's gonna be talking about it. Nobody else will, because nobody cares. Nobody cares what you do in the first round.
Cam, you hold everybody to different standards. You can't call a player great and then you just let them skate. That's all you do. What? If you gonna call someone great, you hold them to a great standard.
Chris, do I not kill LeBron? I literally kill LeBron about niggas pass the ball, niggas keep shooting.
Okay, and if LeBron were to lose in the first round, which he's never done, he would get killed, especially if he's a number 1 seed and lost to an 8 seed.
But that goes.
And I don't know why you sit up here acting like that's true.
Because we don't care about what you do in the first round.
No.
People don't care what you do in the first round. We're not even understanding.
No,
we don't care what you do in the first round.
That goes back to your point is that LeBron, he is mostly hated by the media.
Exactly, he's hated.
Whereas Giannis is mostly not hated, coddled and liked.
He's coddled.
I don't think it's a bad thing to say that. Yes, if we're gonna put Giannis in a certain standard,
in a group, we can't coddle him. Just like I be saying, we can't coddle Jokic. He's balling out right now. If Jokic messes around and wins the NBA title and Finals MVP, his literal resume is better than Giannis's at that point. So he has an argument to be the best player in the league. If Curry messes around and goes back-to-back, which means he would have went through Bron, probably went through Jokic, went through the Celtics, that's 5 rings. He's probably going to get 2 Finals MVPs at 35. He's better than Giannis. If Bron wins in year 20, he's better than Giannis.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because we just shut up.
Legacy-wise, yes, obviously.
I'm not talking about legacy. We just said a couple weeks ago on this same podcast, we just said when a player wins the MVP or wins the championship and wins Finals MVP, they get bragging rights. Giannis
Yeah.
is 2 years removed from his championship. He's lost his bragging rights if one of those players takes it.
Yeah, okay, but look. They get bragging rights. But I think it would be crazy if it were Jokic or only person I told you earlier is that if it was Embiid, I would see that best player in the league. But them other ones, the only reason I'm iffy about it is because the stats they don't match. They the leaders, they scoring, they creating plays, but the stats in terms of dominance in actual league, we know that is Giannis. We joke about it all the time. It's Tuesday afternoon and Giannis got 47 points and 13 boards.
Like, what are we
Okay.
talking
Them guys
about?
not doing that. Okay, I'm just
doing
saying.
that. Nobody
But
is.
Joel though,
Okay.
Joel has that argument.
But
If
when
you wanna go win the
when if we said you could just simply be the best player and get that title for just making those numbers in the regular season?
Well, what are you talking? Are you talking best player in terms of actual playing or best player in terms of winning?
It goes
No.
together.
Well, hold on.
We've
No,
always
no.
said that when Giannis finally won the
I don't
championship.
ever
we were like-
say winning is part of being great.
Cam don't.
Because
I
I say Aaron Rodgers is my GOAT. So
I definitely do say that, but Cam don't say that, and you're right.
I'm saying,
but if you were to pick somebody on your 3v3 team, and the last
that's not
person
what
was,
I'm not saying. I'm not picking Giannis. I'm saying when it comes down to
Okay,
how we look
that's
at
all
these
I'm saying.
players' careers.
that's all I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is a blemish. This is a failure. You were a number 1 seed. You just got beaten 5 and lost on your home court in a game where you played bad at the end, and it was evident.
It is a failure.
And he's an MVP.
It's a failure. It is a failure.
All these other players that we put in the same tier, Embiid, Jokic, they're in the playoffs. Embiid obviously injured, so his is a
But
caveat.
gets scrutinized too, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Giannis is coddled. Me, I don't have a problem with calling out the BS. Cam wants to coddle these stars randomly, but then praise them on another
I
note.
don't get how am I calling it right
You
now.
you coddling him.
I'm just saying in 20 years we won't be looking at this, which we don't because
We don't know because if he doesn't win again, we will come back and look at this as one of the years where damn, they were the number 1 seed in the East.
Yeah.
They had a great team, and what they do, they lost in 5. And Giannis didn't play that great when it came down to it in the clutch. Literally,
but at the end of the day, they're gonna say how many rings he got. He has one. At least he won. I mean,
okay, at least
everybody don't get
yes,
there, bro.
That's no,
We gotta stop
but
acting like
he's not everybody. That's what I'm saying. So we can't compare him to everybody.
all right.
Greatest player in the world.
That's like saying you get mad when Clay puts up 4 and talking about he don't got no right to talk. He got 4. So what are we talking about then?
I never say he ain't had no right to talk. I just don't like him.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I say I hate when he
Don't
does
like
that because I just don't like the dude. Like he
Just
just
don't like him.
he's cocky and nobody be seeing it. Like he gets
That whole
that.
team like that though, except
It's a-
Draymond.
it's
Everybody sees
it's
it.
a failure.
But if we talk about calling, everybody be calling Klay Thompson.
So
That's the difference. That's the difference.
I'm finna be Molly. So what I see here, bro, and now that I see it, her job gotta be hard as hell. All right, guys, all right. I wish we had commercial breaks because then I could really push y'all. But the big difference I see is that, well, Cam, he sees that it's no failure at all. Dev sees no failure at all. I see it as a separate failure. So good postseason or bad.
Yours
postseason,
really make the
good
most
regular
sense.
season, and Bryce he clumps it all together and says, I mean, it's the whole ride from the beginning to the end, and you failed to deliver.
Yeah, because they played that well in the regular season to secure first seed home court advantage, and then they let it wash all the way. It's a failure at that point.
It's like investing in something and then it falling.
exactly like, dang, what did we just do this for?
Yeah.
And they were literally, I'm pretty sure the heavyweight favorite of America in Vegas to win it all, and it's been like that not just in the regular or the postseason, the regular season too. Like that's a failure of a season for them. They literally went from championship to Eastern Conference semis to out in the first round. They're trending down, whether you want to admit it or not. They're trending down.
They about to go back. They about to go back to their $1 million houses, the $1 million cars.
We're not talking
and
about
cry.
failure at life. We're talking about
and-
failure.
I was
and-
like, what is this nigga.
He just
And-
want to sound like
and
LeBron
cry.
when LeBron told people, I mean, y'all still got to go back to y'all regular
Yeah,
ass job.
I mean, that's true.
That's a sore loser. That's
That-
if you say that, you're a
exactly.
sore loser.
Like
Man.
It's like
this,
yeah,
we're not talking
I'm
about. He's
lost, but you
obviously
go-
not a failure at life. In the 2022-23 NBA season, he was a failure. It is what it is. And if he's going to be one of the greats, how we regard him, that can't happen. Because if any other great happened to, we would get on them. It's time to stop coddling him. He
Well,
need to
he
go
young,
get.
so
He need to
got-
go
he
get in
got
the
a lot of
gym.
time
He still
left.
needs to work on his shot intensity. He got to get the free throws together at some point. Because another crazy stat this year, he shot 121 more free throws than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid finished the season making one more free throw than him. They're both the same size. Like Giannis got to get it together. Like if he's gonna be great, he got to be great, and he can't sink in no more clutch situations. He can't have Chris Middleton save him. He can't be a defensive player of the year and watch a man give his team 50 and not one time say, you know what, coach, I'm gonna go guard him, because he has the power to do that. It's not like if he went into the huddle and said, hey, Budenholzer, you know what? Scrap the game plan. I'm on Jimmy. It's not like Budenholzer would be like, no, Giannis, like, this is what I'm going to draw. No, he'd be like, okay, go ahead. But he doesn't do that. And he never has, because we talked about it years before when he wasn't guarding the best people in series. But he's defensive player of the year, right?
He does. He guards them, but only for like
If a dude is giving my team 50, once Jimmy surpassed 35 and you feel it's like he's here, he's heated up.
Y'all
You
see
gotta
what
be
Kawhi
like,
had said? Kawhi was like, Lou in the locker room is like, we got a new game plan. Said the game plan is I'm guarding
Giannis. And what he do? He shut Giannis down 4 straight games. That was a failure because they were number 1 that year too. But that was before he was really matured into his shot. He still didn't have anything at all. He came back, lost again in the bubble, and then they won the championship. We're like, okay, well now he's rising as the best player. Now they're back to Sydney. He got to make it back to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. Like real stuff. They got the best team and the best player. That's not acceptable. So,
well,
I don't know why. I don't know when the standards change for the greats. Like either he's just a good player or he's a great. If he's a great, that's a failure. Because they know at their caliber, we trying to get championships.
Yeah, they're rings.
Yeah, 1 is cool, but 2 is better.
Yeah.
So
Ice.
Who says he got to win all in a row though?
Huh?
Or like get there to the Eastern Conference Finals like in consecutive years or some shit. You know,
I'm not even saying he got to do it in consecutive years, but they literally went championship, lost in the semis. We gave him an excuse because Chris Middleton was out, and this year they just lost in the first round. That's trending down. Like they got to do something. Like Chris said, if you're gonna call the regular season successes because they're the best team with the best record, that's gotta show over to the postseason at some point.
And I agree. That's why I said the postseason was a failure. But if they lost to one of these teams and it was a battle, not like a sweep or in 5.
So wait, okay, let's say for instance the Heat goes on and win a championship. Is that still fair to y'all?
Yeah, because they lost in 5 at home. If
to the NBA champions?
Yes, because I'm still saying the way they lost, they gave up a 20-point lead 2 games in a row.
That it could have been mitigated. That they could have.
Yeah, they could have. They easily. That series really should have gone 7. If they don't choke those 2 games, the series is tied, or they're up 3-2 headed into Game 6. But they blew Game 4, and then they blew Game 5, and now you just lost 4-1.
I understand all that, but at the end of the day, if the Miami Heat end up winning the championship, they lost to the champions.
It's still a failure.
Yes, yeah, because that feel even worse because it's like, dang, that could have been us.
Oh no, we just lost to the better team.
They weren't the better team though.
How there wasn't the better team if they won in 5? They won a series. They was the better team.
Well, we just said the regular season they're the best team. Giannis is the best player in the world. They have the better team statistically through all stats.
But everybody don't really.
I see the point.
Every don't really play for real in regular season like some other teams do, like
They
how
don't.
Golden State usually do
Yeah,
used to do back in
playoff
the day.
Jimmy is real, but I'm saying
Where did you have the Heat on your preseason rankings?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm
Let
pretty
me
sure I
see.
had them around like 8 or 7. I thought they were gonna fall off
I
this
think I
year.
had them at like
Probably had them like an 8 or 7
six
seed.
or no. I had Atlanta at 7. I think.
I had them at 6. I didn't think they was bad, but I didn't
Oh,
think
we
they
all had
was
them at
like
6. We all had them at 6.
yeah. I didn't think they was bad, but I didn't think they was like
I
they
didn't
was
think
gonna
they were gonna
lose.
be that bad
Damn,
this
you
year
had the Bucks at 1.
Yeah,
because he thought they was the team from the
yeah.
jump. But that's not a failure.
Shit, if you put your money on them preseason, that motherfucker be a
That's
failure.
that's like saying the Chiefs go 14-3 again next year, lose their first playoff game, and people are like, "Oh no, season was a success." Like, no,
I mean, they're not gonna say that though.
they not. I'm saying it. They're not in the same boat because we got 2 now, but they essentially in the same boat. It's the best player on the best
No,
team.
no, 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 no. It's not the
You gotta
same boat.
win.
Y'all got two. Y'all got two in what, in 5 years.
And we got to
That's
the
not the
second
same
next
thing.
year.
It's not the same
Rodgers,
thing.
the Aaron Rodgers argument was better than that.
Yeah, no, that's the better one.
That's even more perfect because they both in the state of Wisconsin. Like, if the Bucks didn't win that in 21, them fans would probably be near suicide right now. And I mean, we could. I mean, I'm not saying it's well, as the social media calls it, a Mickey Mouse ring. But I mean, that year it was a lot of injuries that took place in the playoffs for them to even get matched up with the Suns. That was a lucky draw to get them because they weren't even the best team in the West that year. If AD doesn't go out, I don't even think the Suns make it out of round 1 that year. The way
I
the Lakers are playing.
know we doing that now because shit, I got some shit.
Man. Come on, man.
We doing that
Come
now
on,
because
man.
No, we
boy,
gotta
I got some stuff to say about that now.
Bonus at the end, man.
we gotta move on. We gotta move on. I'm sorry, Devin. You had to witness all that. You just been sitting
Devin,
over
like, I
there.
don't want to say nothing.
I don't even know if I can really post this one for real because I know all our parents finna watch this one. And this one,
Oh, stop! I forgot.
It's crazy. My mama literally, she was like, "Well, you don't let me watch your podcast." I'm like, "It's on YouTube," and I was gonna send her this one.
man.
Well, I don't know. You might.
Bryce was saying it, Mama. It wasn't me.
You said bring it in the group chat. I told you I was ready.
I kicked things off.
Y'all did. That was good. Yeah.
I got it. You might have to cut some of that stuff off if the parents watching.
I'm good.
Or what SpongeBob? The dolphin.
Next question. This one kind of changed. I sent the topic questions out yesterday so we all could prepare. Then this morning it came out that Joel Embiid is playing. So the question was, are the 76ers still contenders without Embiid? Because, they won game 1. Harden went off for 45. Now they got Embiid back. I don't know how healthy he is, and I haven't just necessarily just watched this game since we've been recording. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I still got to see it to believe it because it's Doc Rivers and James Harden at the end of the day. But I'll give them their props. The 76ers actually really have a solid all-around team. They're the only team in the playoffs that haven't lost yet. And 2 of those games, they've been missing the NBA MVP, Joel Embiid. So is this roster for real? Can they really make the finals, possibly win a championship? Or do y'all still think they're not to be trusted? Doc Rivers, most 3-1 chokes in history. James Harden, the playoff choker. That's another argument for another day. But how do y'all feel about the 76ers? I'll swing it to you first, Devin, because I know your voice should be primed and ready to go after all that.
I think they are contenders. I think they're gonna make it to the finals this year.
You think they're gonna make it to the finals?
Yes, I got them making it. I'm not just thinking, like you said, they have an all-around good team, but I'm thinking of the defensive side of the ball. I think they're second or third in steals in the playoffs right now, and they average 5 blocks a game. And then, add James Harden on the other side of the ball. That's a winning team.
Okay, yeah, no, and that was another point I was gonna make too. Since the All Star break, Philly has the best record. Since playoffs, like I said, they got the best record. So I mean, the team is hooping. They got great pieces. I know I said it like way back when we first made the first couple episodes for the NBA season. I thought getting Melton was a big pickup, and I thought Memphis losing Melton was gonna hurt them because he was a great reserve piece. He's been playing good. PJ Tucker doesn't fill up the stat sheet necessarily, but his presence is certainly felt on both ends of the court. Tyrese Maxey coming into his own, and then James Harden, like he said, he can get 40 when he want to, but people told him you can't win like that, so he's playing point guard trying to facilitate. And then of course, MVP Joel Embiid, first player to get 33 and 10 in like half a decade. So what about you, Cam? I know you picked them to win this series versus the Celtics. Me too. You still with the Joel Embiid injury stuff, and I know he's back now. Are you still sticking with 76ers, or how are you feeling about that one?
It's kind of tough to say because okay, they stole one on the road, so now they got advantage or whatever or not. They're probably gonna lose game two. Looks like
Yeah.
so. I think that Philly crowd gonna be ready. I think I think they have a good chance of winning two back to back. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I think they will. I think they will beat the Celtics. I think they do get past. Um they got a really good starting five, like a really elite starting five. Um so they got that going for them. Now are we saying will they be contenders without Embiid or
As of
with
right
him?
now, they got Embiid back, so I'm gonna say, hopefully, God willing, he's able to stay healthy for however long they last in the playoffs. So with Embiid back, and you seen what Harden can still do. Like that's still in his bag. If people forgot, because some people were doubting his skills the past couple years. Doc Rivers, we know his history as a coach. Do you think they could really win the championship this year?
I mean, I think so. I don't see why not. Like I said, they got a starting five. They got a strong starting five. The only thing that I do say they kind of lack is the bench guys. Other than like you said, Milton. Other than that, I mean,
I
it's
mean,
not
like
really.
Niang can come in, knock down some threes. Reed, he's been pretty good as play because he had to step into the center role with Embiid out. He's not Embiid, obviously, but he plays his role well. So I mean, I'd give them top three. Well, I guess I'd say they're arguably top three, one of the deepest rosters in the NBA playoffs left right now, behind the Nuggets and Lakers. Them in Boston, it's debatable who's deeper.
I'm gonna have to go. They bench don't match up with like the Celtics bench and like the Heat bench. I feel like I think those two are also more deeper than them. Only because, like I said, only because I think those other teams bench guys have way better bench pieces than the 76ers do. But like I said, their starting five is so good. It's like you can bench Embiid and Maxi and still have Harden out there with those other pieces. So I mean they got like a lot of different rotations that they can go with. You can even leave Maxi out there with like the role players or not, and they'll still be fine. So when I think deep, I'm thinking of like also like the bench pieces as well.
What about you, Chris? Are you buying into the 76ers stock, or you just waiting to see it? I think you're on mute. Or
Oh,
oh, I can hear you now. There
all
you
right.
go.
I had the 76ers winning this game, so kind of sucks right now. But I'm sold on Embiid getting his MVP, and I felt like coming back into game two, getting the MVP, like he's gonna come and get a dub. I mean, James just had a great game, so I felt like James coming off a hot game, and him and B going in together should have been pretty easy. But I mean, as expected, the Celtics made their changes, and they knew they were playing against maybe a not a full strength Embiid, but at the end of the day, it's still Embiid. So they made their game plan and they switched it. In terms of the series, I think when this series started, I actually stayed away from even trying to see who was going to win it. I think it's going to be a really good series, so I really can't choose. But I think when we talked about it uh, in the live episode, I think I had this. I think I had the Celtics. I said I felt like it couldn't go any other way. Um, I think all in all, they are probably the better team in regards to just like in regards to depth. Um, but that's no knock on the Sixers. Sixers are a great team. It's just you're playing a team that just went to the finals last year and lost to the champions. And they're the second seed in the East. Sixers are third in the East, so it's like it's a pretty even matchup. I really can't choose, but I chose the Celtics in that last episode, so I would stick with that.
For me, kind of like Cam said, I want to see him at home, and I expected them to lose this game because I seen some stat earlier today. I think like I forgot the time frame, but basically when home team loses the first playoff game, they're like 14-0 in game 2. Figured Celtics would come out hot, mad from last game because they kind of blew that one, regardless of Embiid coming back. And I'm sure Embiid got to work through some rust and fatigue. But I know game 3, Philly's gonna be rocking. And I mean, if you tell the 76ers coming into the series knowing they wouldn't have Embiid for at least game 1, and you tell them they walking out of the first 2 games with the split, they're taking that every day. So all they got to do is defend their home court now. But Boston, like you said, they're experienced team, with reigning Eastern Conference champions. If they can still win in Philly, then I think this series might end in 6. But if Philly wins both games at home, something tells me just in Philadelphia fashion, it would go 7. Like they would find a way to lose the next 2 somehow, some way. But I really want to see them win, especially now that Embiid secured his MVP. I want to see him be able to go on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And especially, I mean, granted, Jimmy Butler, I got to give him his props. But this is the year for either one of these teams where it's like, dang, we got to make it to the finals now because the Bucks just got knocked out. I don't think any of them fear the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to beat the Heat. Jimmy Butler ankle injury might change that up, but he's supposed to be playing next game. But I think both these teams this year would take themselves versus the Heat easy. So this is probably the toughest series. So whoever comes out of this got to feel like they're primed to go to the NBA Finals. So we'll see. We'll see. But I feel like like I said, their top 3 roster, arguably, got an MVP, 2 MVPs actually now. James Harden got his MVP. So they gotta get it done. If they don't, the season's a failure. Like because then
he go to the finals.
Yeah, they already. I mean, there's already been rumors that James Harden might be coming back to Houston. At that point, what do you do to build around Joel, or do you try to trade him miraculously just to get pieces and start a rebuild? Who knows? So yeah, they got to get it done. If there's any year to make it to the finals, at the very least, it would be this year. And it just sucks that Joel Embiid, whatever the official injury is, they probably won't tell us what the official knee injury is until the end of the season. But something, a minor ligament is probably torn in his knee, and he's just gonna have to play through it. It sucks, but it is what it is. So,
If they trade Joel, he probably gonna have to ask for it, huh?
I don't even think he would have to ask. They might sit back in management and think, well, we've been trusting this. I mean, even though they weren't the ones who drafted him, we've been trying to build a team around him for years. Can't get over the hump. If James Harden leaves, I mean, they really shouldn't want to pay Tobias that money anymore. it might be best to see because you could get a haul for Joel Embiid to the right team, like a Dallas Mavericks. They could use a Joel Embiid. Now, what would they get for him? I don't know. I'm just saying, like a team could use a Joel Embiid. They could get a great haul back and then try to start a rebuild. Because at that point, what are you doing? You basically doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's kind of the same boat as Portland probably needs to trade Dame this year, regardless of what he says. Like, it's just time. It's clear you two, like the team and the player, aren't gonna win the championship together. So hopefully that doesn't come true for Philly though. But yeah, they're currently down 23. So I would in 1 minute left in the third, I would consider this game over unless they go on a miraculous comeback. But moving on to the next one. So round one, Clippers versus the Suns. Fortunately, Kawhi goes out. Paul George was already ruled out for the series. Russell Westbrook tried his hardest, but props to him. He balled out, but he couldn't carry that Clippers team over Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And now the Clippers, I don't know where they go from here, but me personally, I think they lost the trade with OKC years back. They traded SGA for PG because that's what Kawhi wanted. They got no championships to show for it. One conference finals appearance, and they're opening up a new stadium. If it's not next year, in 2 years, so they can't even really enter rebuild because they're gonna have to sell some seats in that arena. How y'all feeling about the Clippers? I mean, I know it sucks because it's injuries, so we'll never really be able to say. But at this point, it's kind of the norm. Either Paul George or Kawhi, one of the two is gonna be injured every year, like clockwork. I'm gonna swing it to you first, Cam. How is it? Did the Clippers lose a trade? And is they can't call them a dynasty, but like, is this Clippers
Dynasty.
era over? I'm thinking of a word, era. Is the Clippers era over with Kawhi and PG?
Yeah, they lost the trade. They lost the trade when the Lakers won the finals. Believe it or not, the Lakers won it before them. Definitely lost it because had all that hype going around. Kawhi's the new king of LA or whatever. Then they sent Shea to OKC with a bunch of picks and stuff like that, a bunch of other stuff. You see what Shea doing. I mean, Shea is Shea. I feel when that happened, I feel like it was a stupid trade because
He was the future.
I was like Shea gonna be him. I was telling everybody, I was like, Shea gonna be him, bro. Believe it or not, Shea gonna be him. But then once he got over to OKC, I believe wasn't it 1 year? Maybe he was still in the Clippers. I was like, bro, y'all gotta watch out for Shea because he's gonna go crazy. But I think it was with the Clippers. But anyway, yeah, I think it was I think they lost that trade for sure. Now with the era between PG and Kawhi, is that over? Like I said, it can't be over. They gotta sell some tickets, buddy. They gotta sell some tickets. So I can't see them getting rid of either one of them. Well, now what I can see Kawhi randomly retiring at some point. I definitely can see that because it's like, bro, all right, you missing majority of the season, and once we go to the postseason, you can only play like 2 or 3 games. I mean, it's time to hang it up, man. I mean, if your body breaking down, your knees giving up on you, I mean, it's time to think of the future. You can't just keep coming out here and killing yourself like that. So yeah, I think if anything happens, I think that would happen before the Clippers trade one of them.
That's fair. And yeah, I don't know, like obviously the official, like I'm not a doctor, I'm not in Kawhi's inner circle. I feel like he just doesn't have any cartilage in his knee anymore. Kind of like the Brandon Roy situation that ended his career early. Because there's no way you load manage all season only to then get injured in the playoffs. Coming off of he missed all of last season too. So it's not like his body hasn't been getting rest. for the last 2.5 years. He's been doing nothing but resting, and he still ends up injured. I mean, I'd hate to see him retire early, but he really might have to for his own health, or he might not be able to walk one day because obviously something's not right.
But
And
my bad.
oh no, go ahead.
But let JJ Redick tell it. JJ Redick says he Kawhi is like one of the hardest, like when it comes to training and like health wise, he like goes all out like
I don't
for his
doubt
training
that.
and stuff like that.
Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe that is because like JJ Redick was explaining it to Stephen A. He made it seem like the shit he do is like crazy. Like he shouldn't be doing that on the type of knees that he has, but he is. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is.
That's fair. I don't doubt he puts in all that work. I just don't think his body, like, not his body not built for it, but almost essentially it's not built for it. Like, it's just worn down. And the knees, if those go, you really can't play this sport. Really any sport, but basketball
he
for
been
sure.
playing for a while. Like Kawhi been playing for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't. I don't think it'd be any shame if he retired. I don't think anybody would be like, that dude sucked. Like they were just losers. Like I think people understand. At the end of the day, we gonna find out what really was really going on, and we gonna know.
I don't know what Kawhi circle, we might not ever find out if he do retire.
He probably
I
don't
think
get
it was the
fucking doctors
Spurs, bro. I think the Spurs messed him over. That training, what's called that, their athletic trainers or whatever. I think they messed over his like his. I don't think they was watching his health pretty much. I think they was just letting him play while his knees was fucked off or messed off.
Yeah, he was young, so it was just like he young, he
Yeah,
good. I mean,
he
you got
good.
Tim Duncan to look after, so you can't be looking at the young guy.
How are you feeling about this one, Devin? Did the Clippers lose that trade with OKC, and will the Clippers ever be able to win anything with Kawhi and PG? Because for that to happen,
No,
they're gonna have to stay healthy.
and that's something they can't do. They're not going to win a chip. And Paul George he was better in OKC. That was his 15. That's where he should be. And they traded 5 first-round picks. And Cam said, "Sky is the future," and he is. Imagine him with 5 first-round draft picks.
Even imagine imagine him with Kawhi, because Kawhi is actually the one who forced this trade because he wanted PG. And granted, people knew SGA was a good player. Nobody knew he would be this, so to speak. But Kawhi had a point guard, and we don't know. We'll see in the years to come, hopefully, how good of a playoff player he can really be. But we knew PG wasn't necessarily the best playoff performer, but that's who Kawhi wanted. But yeah, to give up 5 first-round picks, which have now turned into Chet Holmgren, no telling who they'll get this year, but they got the Williams, not brothers, but the Williams kids, Giddy. Like they literally
nice
they rebuilt in 2 years essentially, and now they might really, depending on Chet Holmgren's progress and how he fares in the NBA, they really might be a top 6 or 5 seed next year in the West and make some noise in the playoffs.
Don't give us standards like that. Relax, because you ain't gonna say we had them up failure when we did this.
if y'all make the playoffs, I would still consider that season a success for y'all's roster. That's why I consider
this season was a success.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Crazy play-in. That's a success.
The Kings were a success to me because they were predicted to finish last in the Pacific West Division. Like they beat out the Warriors in the division for regular season and got 3rd seed. Like nobody saw that coming. If you made a preseason bet on the Kings to win that division, you won some good money.
Thanks.
So now them losing to the defending champs, I feel like that's more of just a humbling step in their journey for years to come. I don't really see that as necessarily failing because that's the defending champs. I'm surprised they even got him in Game 6. Which that kind of segues into our next question.
Oh, F that Game 6, bro.
The young teams, Sacramento, Memphis. We always talk about, these young players are the future of the league. They're gonna win this, they're gonna win that. But think a lot of times we do get caught up and forget that the stuff that we see LeBron doing at 38, what we see Curry doing at 35, that is not normal. Like, there's very few players that play at this elite of a level or high level of play at this age. So, yes, these teams are young, they got a future, but the future is not promised in this league. And we thought, last year, Memphis, after the year they had, they'll be back for sure. They're young and talented. I just want to say, I'm going to pump my chest out right now because I was telling y'all, I don't know if they're going to repeat what they did last year, this year. And sure enough, this year they're a first round exit versus the Lakers. Granted, it's LeBron and AD, but LeBron is old. When is he going to give up the throne? The Kings, up and coming team, I think they got a promising future. They got to make a few moves to kind of fix up that roster a little bit for some deficiencies. But they ran into the defending champs who are on their last leg, it looks like, and they still lost. So when do these young teams get over this hump and win something? Because you only get so many of these opportunities. And while we say, yeah, they're young, they're going to be here again, it's never promised. And, contracts, players wanting money, you're going to lose key role players year in, year out. It's not going to be the same roster, so to speak, as it was last year. So when will the young teams, finally kick these old guys out the league? Because I think a reason the old guys are still in the league is because nobody's beating them. So why retire? They could just keep adding to their legacy. So I'm gonna swing this one to you first, Devin. You're a youngin. When do you think these players that are gonna be your generation's top players? When do you see them? Who's gonna be the first to win a championship? Is it gonna be Tatum, Luka, Ja, SGA, De'Aaron? Who you think is gonna be the first to finally get to that mountaintop and basically be the image for kids all of your age group and below? Because that's who y'all have grown up watching now, essentially.
I think it's gonna be Luka. Actually, Jason Tatum got put in that situation last year and lost to Curry, but Luka, I feel like give him just a better roster, just a little bit. In the next few years, I feel like he gets a ring.
Next few years, you think does that ring? You think Kyrie's still on the roster for that ring?
No.
So what's one player you would want to see paired up with Luka that you think helps him get to that championship?
Like you said earlier, Embiid. Every team needs an Embiid on their team.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be a
be nice.
crazy duo. I don't know how that trade or what would even have to, like, the details of what has to go in to even compensate for Joel Embiid. But I don't think Dallas has that this offseason, honestly.
Who else I
Definitely.
like? What you saying? What you say, Dev?
Scoot up some, Devin.
Definitely not this offseason.
Oh, well, I think when you scoot up, it picks up, I don't know if the AirPods or your mic, it picks it up better. So just scoot up. But what were you about to say, Chris?
Bro, remember we was talking about if the Nuggets don't do nothing this season, they gotta trade Nikola Jokic. Dallas.
That would be a crazy trade.
That would be crazy.
Would be, but I really don't I don't know how that would work.
I don't know how it work. Well, I think I know how it would work.
I'm not saying playing wise, I'm saying I don't.
Money-wise.
Yeah, I don't, because I'm pretty sure Jokic has been inked his deal, so you're gonna be having to give him a lot of guaranteed money, and then you won't really have anything to build a roster besides them two. That would literally terrorize the league. That would be European superpower over there in Dallas if they they got that.
America would be losing.
Oh yeah, but Chris, you next because you're a fan. One of these young up and coming teams. When do you think when do they finally kick these old guys to the curb and just beat them? Like, in a sense, snatch the throne away.
I think respectfully, I think they. So you gotta look at, like, for example, look at LeBron when he came into the league. Who was running it? It was like the Spurs, some Kobe. Then I guess you had like the Pistons, like, randomly. You gotta just give those guys some time, man. I think by years 5 for some guys, 6 and 7 for others. I think that's when you start looking at them like, all right, y'all, it's time to get a chip. Right now, for example, the Kings, I think they're a great example of what a young team should be. I don't think they were ever cocky. They came in, they tried to get a win, and that's what they did all year. Whereas with the Grizzlies, we've talked about this before, and I've said it before too. The Grizzlies put a target on their back. They wouldn't shut up. And now they got super high expectations from not only themselves but from the media. Whenever they lose, it's like, y'all suck. But we forget that, like, they almost the youngest team in the NBA, are they not?
They are.
Yeah. It's like we forget that sometimes that these are just young. These are young kids. They don't really even have the experience that these older guys have. And yeah, if I'm an older guys, I ain't going nowhere because clearly ain't nobody else behind us to take our throne. You got, I would say, Jason Tatum and Lucas. No, just Jason Tatum is the closest, in my opinion, that can come up. But that's just one spot. We need 5 or 6 guys that's going to come up. Giannis just lost in the first round. It ain't looking too good. If I'm an old guy, I ain't leaving. But give it 5, 6, 7 years for some guys. I think by that time, we'll start seeing the older guys fade out, obviously, because not only just because of the younger guys coming up, but just because of age. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Hopefully, because
Hopefully,
from the highlight,
OKC gonna win a chip first out of all them.
that would be crazy if they do win a chip with
Well, I'm moving to
Shea
Oklahoma.
after the trio of Harden, Russ, and KD, and they didn't get a chip with them, but they got a chip with
I'm gonna be
SGA, Giddy, and
I'll be sitting
Holmgren.
courtside, bro.
But 4 or 5 years from now, we might still be looking at LeBron. Judging by
could.
Bryce James highlights, he might be trying to play with him too.
That's why I say 6 and 7.
Ain't no
You gotta
way,
count for
man.
LeBron.
Ain't no way. That's
Really
that's what
20, because LeBron could be here till he 56. Wanted to be.
But that's what I'm saying, because when we have conversations about the greats, like some of these players, these are their best years to kind of win a championship because they're young, they're not that expensive yet, but they literally can't because it's players like LeBron and Curry that are there, and you just can't beat them when it comes down to it in a 7-game series. And so they're missing prime years to stack get their legacy essentially started.
Do you see any young players, or any of y'all see any young players right now that would have the longevity of the careers that some of these guys are having?
With
That plays
sports
a part.
science
Yeah.
today, a lot of these players should play longer, but it just comes down like there are some injuries and stuff that happens where they might not be able to, like, it might derail their career. Like we're talking about Kawhi. Kawhi doesn't have these injuries. He might be potentially in a GOAT debate because he might have another ring or two or another great postseason run because he can clearly do it when he's healthy. Like we just watched him game 1 straight up bully the Suns with no problem and lock up KD, and then unfortunately he gets hurt. They drop 4 games in a row, but really just depends on health. But
you think the skill will stay up to par? Like nobody's gonna start like kind of declining earlier. Like look at Ja or Shea or Luca or
Ja, for
guys.
me,
Well, this
Ja's gonna
style.
have to
Yeah.
next year. If we don't see a different Ja, for me personally,
Say the name, bro. Don't say his name.
well, I wasn't gonna say a name. I'm just saying, like, like I already said to start off this year, I didn't think Ja was like a top player. Like I wouldn't put him in my top 5, top 10.
But
But
you were saying top young player.
or top young player. Yeah,
Young
like
player, you wouldn't put him there.
yeah, but
Wow.
he gonna have to change his game, man. He gonna have to
No,
change his game. His game,
not necessarily change. I think he
he
need to
gotta
add some
alter
stuff.
some things. He gotta add some things, and he gotta
Dangerous.
stop doing some things. Like
He's dangerous.
he gotta add. Like it's okay to take a floater every now and again. You don't have
Yeah,
to
just
try
take
to
a
dunk on
floater.
He do them
everybody.
sometimes, but he do be one of them highlights because
He
it
do.
look cool. It look cool.
But one of these days he gonna be trying to look cool, and he gonna end his career trying to look cool. How he just almost messed up his whole wrist trying to dunk on AD when he was standing there for like 5 seconds.
Outside of the restricted area.
And then he comes back from that injury and still does the same thing and almost just completely gives himself a concussion trying to dunk on Braun. Like he gotta change some things. He gotta still develop his jump shot. I'm not saying he'll never do that, but he's gotta find a way to make his play style more conducive to winning when it matters. Cause it's no mystery anymore when he's not on the court that Memphis team runs better as a team. And that's why they win games when he's not there. And yeah, they still win games when he's back, but it's not the same way they're winning the games. It's not as many people. He's got to get his team more involved. He's got to facilitate some more because he is a point guard, even though he can score clearly when he wants to. But, you know, like some of the best, like LeBron, he knows he can get his 25 whenever he feels like it. But to start off a game, you know what? Because I know I'm going to need these guys, especially like come playoff time, game 1 of a series, I'm going to feed my guys, try to get them in the rhythm because down the road, game 5, we're going to need them to knock a shot down here or there. Ja got to start getting his team more involved. And it can't just be, you know, Ja get 40, get some highlight dunks, but then we just lost to a 7th seed in the playoffs after, you know, saying last year we're a dynasty. Like, that can't happen. And he's still young, so I'm still cutting him some slack, but he's definitely got to alter some things and show some improvement in different aspects of his game before he essentially becomes, I'm going to say the name now, but I wouldn't even call him a Russ 2.0 anymore because at least Russ really can fill a stat sheet, and obviously he can still do that. Ja's the better shooter, but Russ can do more things on the court that add to winning. But at the same time, Russ couldn't shoot. He couldn't win when it mattered in the playoffs. Ja can't facilitate that great. He can't win in the playoffs. Like, it's going to take something. He's got to add something to his game. And I think that team can still add different pieces around the league, but they got a good young core with him, Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr.,
and Dylan Brooks.
But yeah, he's done. He got done wrong by the media, but he's done. But yeah, they gotta for one, like you said, they gotta stop putting a target on their back. Like, yeah, I'm not saying like go completely away from talking trash. Like, talk your trash, but you can't say some of the stuff they've been saying the past 2 years and then have the results they've had. Because like you said, they had a target on their back this year, and it showed. Like, teams were out to get them. They didn't have as successful as the season. Obviously, some injuries derailed that, like Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. But then come playoff time, I get it's LeBron, it's AD, but they got dubbed, like, for
Good
real.
in the West though.
Yeah, saying stuff like, "Yeah, we fine in the West," and then you lose first round
No matter who.
to a play-in team. Technically, like, come on now.
Good in the West.
And you got home court advantage, and you lose in 6. Like, you didn't even force it to at least game 7 on your home court. You got 40 piece. Dylan said, you know, he don't respect nobody till they give him 40. The whole team gave him 40. So, but what about you, Ken? When do you think? I mean, I'm assuming hopefully, you know, LeBron. Not hopefully, but I'm assuming LeBron will be out the league or retired at least 2 to 3 years. Especially if he get a championship this year, it'll make it that much easier to retire. But when do these guys like finally pass the torch? Because Steph 35, he's not getting any younger, but he's not looking any worse.
Mhm.
LeBron, I mean, this playoffs, he hasn't looked that great shooting wise as we've talked about, but he's still clearly one of the best players in the game. When do the youngins get past the torch, man?
Well, I mean, when you really think about it, in NBA and kind of like NFL, there's really not really like any young teams that's like really winning like that, other than what we've seen before with the Warriors when they first started their dynasty, and with Kansas City, their dynasty that they're on right now. Other than those two, I mean, other than that, when we really look at it, it's been older veteran teams that really, won the championship and whatnot. You look at that Cavs team, they was, old team. Then we look at the Warriors when they added KD,
Spurs.
even the Spurs, they was an older team.
Toronto,
I mean, Toronto,
experience, adding
yeah,
Celtics.
yeah, Celtics. So it's like, it just
Just
takes
that
a while.
era.
It's just like Chris was saying. It just takes a while. Even when you look back in the day when the Bad Boy Pistons was winning, they was an older team. They was beating up on Jordan before he had Scotty whatnot. You see the Celtics, they was winning. They was an older team. Even the Lakers, Showtime Lakers, they was an older team. But when those guys started to retire or get even older, Bird got older. You seen Jordan finally, beating him. Jordan finally beating the Pistons when they, get a little bit older. So I think it just takes a little bit more time, a little bit more of playoff experience. You seen the Celtics finally get there once LeBron left the East. In the West, the Kings, you might not see them
For a minute.
getting there for a minute, as long as they got LeBron and stuff over on that side. So these guys, we seen these guys growing up. As we was growing up, we seen Steph and LeBron always being there. But at some point, they are gonna sadly they are gonna go away at some point. They are gonna retire. So eventually it'll happen. I just don't know when. Maybe, probably like
Within the
like.
day.
I said
with Steph play style, he could really play till he probably 45 if he feels like. I don't think he will.
no, not that play style. No.
Well,
If you actually
Be running around and
run
stuff?
around screens,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
it's showing. It's
play
showing
style
now.
wasn't the right word. I'm saying his play or his talent or ability, he can always be on the floor because you have to respect his shot. That's not gonna leave him. So
Like Vince Carter.
Yeah, and it's just up to him if he wants to be that type of, because he at that point he'll be a role player at that point. If you really think about it, he'll be like So I mean, I don't think he'll like really stay.
Aisha and his 7 kids.
He do got a lot of kids now. Bro, he got a lot of kids now, bro. All right, yeah, that's not what we were talking about. But I think it's just gonna take a while. But I think probably in the next 2-3 years, it's kind of wild to think about. Steph is 35 years old.
Yeah, he's literally only 3 years younger than Bron. Bron just came into the league at 18.
It's so legit. Like in 2 or 3 years, we gotta think LeBron will be like 40, 41, 42, some crazy shit. Steph gonna be what, like 37, 38. They can't be doing this at that age, right? You don't think so?
They can't, but at the same time,
like at some point they have to go.
Another aspect of this with the young players is, which I want to touch on too. Like, we got all these great young players, but like, not all of these players gonna get rings, if any.
Yeah.
So like, who's gonna get the ring first? Who's gonna like be on those dynasty type teams? Who's gonna build a dynasty? Who's gonna start winning the championships once these old players do fall off? Because then
they gotta be Tatum.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy.
I think they gotta be Tatum.
Because
it has to be Tatum.
It has to be.
It has to be Giannis, and we talked about it earlier. But it has to be one of them.
But at the same time,
Devin Booker, I'm gonna give him his props because he is hooping. He's a hooper,
and he's not gonna get it this year.
Yeah,
he's not getting any younger. He's been in the league for a minute now too.
Been in the league
crazy. Tom has been flying,
and that's what I'm saying. These players their years are flying by, and they can't like people like. I'll give Cam part of his argument from earlier. Like, people think like in the NFL, since Tom Brady won 7, people think winning Super Bowls is something like everybody's just supposed to do. Like, no, that's a complete outlier. Nobody's supposed to be that good to the point where they win. So the fact that you're able to get one, let alone two that Mahomes just got, like, yeah, you're cemented because there's gonna be people who never even sniff one. There's gonna be like out of De'Aaron, Tatum, Luka, Shad,
one of them not getting the ring.
maybe
Maybe
three of
ring.
them, maybe all of them. It might be someone else that comes in because, like I said, they're young and inexpensive. It's very possible Jaylen Brown leaves after this year, and if the Celtics don't end up with a championship, yeah, Tatum is still great, but now we see him without a bona fide number 2 like that. He might not make it back after that. So that's why it's really crazy. And it's people need to realize, especially people need to cherish this series we're about to watch with Golden State and Lakers. And I'm gonna use this to segue into our next topic, which is round 2 predictions. We can start with them. This isn't normal what we're seeing. We're seeing a 38-year-old man and a 35-year-old man literally dominate the league. And because of that, all of these other young, great talents, they can't even begin to build their legacy because they can't win. They can't beat them. Bron has literally been at his peak for 20 years. This was the first year ever he didn't finish in the top 10 of MVP voting. Like, that's 20 years of straight dominance to the point where they're like, you know what? We got to include him as a most valuable player. So it's crazy. Chris, where'd you go? I don't know if you meant to do that, but your screen went away.
I did.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's ridiculous. So, like, you know, we can sit up here and say, like, oh yeah, no, the future's bright. I don't know. Because a lot of them players that we just talked about, some of them are not leaving with championships when it's all said and done. Giannis, good thing he got his one, but it's very possible now he might not get another. Because now I'm sure, I don't know if they'll do it really, but there's grounds for firing Budenholzer because he hasn't looked that good in situational basketball. They might try to get rid of Drew for somebody like a Dame or something, maybe Middleton, but they're missing out on prime years of winning championships. And here we are with LeBron and Curry looking like whoever wins that could very well be in the NBA Finals. Granted, they can get past the Nuggets. So, but like I said, we'll segue into now talking about round 2. Lakers, Golden State, the matchup we all wanted, Curry versus LeBron in the semifinals. First time they've matched up in the playoffs, and it's not been the NBA Finals now that LeBron is in the West. Yesterday was a crazy game 1. Warriors literally, they shot 105 shots in the game. 53 of those were three-pointers, and they shot 40% from 3. And despite all that, thank God the Lakers didn't choke at the end. The Lakers won the game. They go up 1-0. They stole one at home. I mean, I obviously know what you think, Cam, who's going to win the series. But how do you think they win the series, and how many games now that they've stolen game 1 and you've seen, kind of the matchups and how these teams can play each other?
I'm going Lakers in 6, obviously. If Golden State lose game 2, I can't believe they let us. I can't really let the Lakers win game 1 in the. First of all, I can't believe that. That was shocking. That was crazy to see. But I'll tell you what, if they mess around and let the Lakers win game 2, I promise to God they either gonna get swept or they gonna lose in 5. I promise to God it's gonna either be
You
a
promise
swept.
to God?
I promise to God himself it's gonna be either 4 or 5. Because I don't trust, like Bryce was saying, I don't trust the Warriors in a road situation, in a hostile environment. Definitely in LA, I don't trust that at all. I don't trust that at all.
Light's gonna be real bright.
Light's gonna be very, very bright. I think Lakers in 6 though. I think Warriors will come back and win game 2. I think Lakers. I say Warriors game 2. I think Lakers win game 3. Then I think Lakers also win game 4, go up 3-1. Then they go back to Golden State, whatever. I think Golden State wins that, and I think Lakers finish them off in 6. Pause. But yeah, I think that'll happen. I think that'll happen.
If they go up
And
3-1, I pray to God
Oh
oh my
my
God.
they don't come back.
I get
'Cause
flashbacks.
the media stuff that will go.
Bro,
You talk about 25 years down the road, they'll still be talking about that 25 years down the road.
that'd be crazy. They'd have to have a rematch. They have to do it again.
They would. The Warriors would have to re-sign Draymond so they can run this back exactly.
Yeah.
No going to get any more players running back
Running back,
as
yeah.
is. No going to get a Kevin Durant and trying to one up. But no, that would be crazy. What about you, Devin? How you think the Lakers, was it a fluke game 1 or are they for real and they can beat the Warriors? Who you got in this series?
I want the Lakers to win, but last game might have been a fluke. Because if the Warriors have better shot selection, they're winning game 2. And that was the only way the Lakers were going to be able to like seal off this series if they took the first 2 games of the series.
So what makes you say game 1 was a fluke? Because I mean, I said, the Warriors shot 53 threes and hit 22, I think, of them. Like, they were hitting shots. They were playing Warriors basketball. And the Lakers only hit Steph, Clay, and Poole all had 6 threes. Lakers had 6 threes as a team and still won. So you're saying that's a fluke? Because for me personally, I don't think the Warriors, I mean, they can repeat that. But it's going to be hard to repeat what they just did.
I think that game came down to free throws, really. I really think it did because the Lakers shot 23 more free throws than they did last game. I think that game came down to free throws. If they go, you might say that he didn't. Jordan Poole and Curry got fouled at the end. That would have been a real game changer. But I feel like if the Warriors go get fouled and like they shoot more free throws, then they win that game.
That's true, but at the same time, they literally have the lowest free throw count in the league this year, whereas the Lakers had no one. That's their play style. They don't attack the basket enough to even get the foul calls. So, like, I seen that was like an argument with Warriors fans, like, man, the refs really giving them the game. Like, no, like, this has been a common occurrence for y'all all season.
They don't watch games.
They clearly don't watch the game. You
scores.
can't watch that game and watch the Warriors attempt 53 3-pointers.
53 threes and think,
why are we going to the free throw line? Like, what?
Why do you think? But what? Why would you think?
They shot 30 in the first half alone. And at that point, they were shooting like 50-something% at the end of the half. And I was like, dang, like, they'll for sure cool off. And they come out the second half, they start raining them again. But the Lakers had an answer for everything. And then Darwin Ham, I don't know what it is with him and not using timeouts when they go on, when the opposing team goes on a run.
It's that bump.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's that bump you got to say. That's what it is. That titty, that titty on his head right there.
Wow.
It's messing with his brain.
Because as soon as they cut it to 7, I would have timeout. Let's stop the bleeding right now. Like they let them get back in the game. And then fortunately the Lakers get a stop. D'Angelo Russell gets a bucket and then get another stop and they're able to win the game at the free throw line. But 14-0 run in the span of like 4 minutes.
He was just sitting there
watching. And you could clearly see LeBron is gassed because at one point he tried to chase down Curry back-to-back possession.
Yeah,
he got the block one possession. Then he tried to chase him down for a second and didn't get that one. And then you can see he can't even make it up the court. AD didn't even rest. He played the whole second half. I'm not mad Ham did it because AD was eating. But clearly your players are gassed. Call timeout for them. I'm like, bro, we literally, I was literally having war flashbacks of 2018 finals game 1 where LeBron did everything he could to do to win and they lost that game. And you could tell, well, that just defeated the whole spirit of the team. This series is over from game 1. If that would have happened the way it happened yesterday and the Warriors win, the series would have been over. Because it's like, dang, we played probably the best game we could have. Survived all their threes, and then they won at the end after we were up double digits with 5 minutes ago. Like, thank God the Lakers won. But because they did, and all we just talked about, and the fashion they did it, if you would have told me coming into that game, oh yeah, the Warriors are going to shoot 53 3-pointers, they're going to make 22 of them, the Lakers are only going to make 6, LeBron is only going to have 22 points, I'd have been like, oh, dang. Well, typical Warriors game 1, they blew them out. They won. How much better can the Warriors play in game 2?
I don't know.
Now, I don't know if the Lakers are going to come with it, because sometimes teams get lackadaisical, like, oh, we stole the one game we needed. We might not come out as hard as they need to. But if we could get AD to replicate what he just did, and LeBron to drive the basketball and stop shooting threes, the Lakers can easily go up 2-0. And maybe call me crazy, say me and Cam, got the same plug or something. They might sweep the Warriors and end this dynasty.
Yep.
Because I like kids, I don't believe in them on the road. And if they go down 2-0, having home court advantage, I think their spirit's gone.
Yeah.
And I think Draymond's gonna do something stupid in the locker room because he's gonna be pissed off. I think it's gonna just start crumbling from the inside out. Like, that was a very deafening game for them to shoot that well and still get blasted by the Lakers. I think this might be the end of the dynasty, and it's only fair that the dynasty that started with them beating LeBron in a series where LeBron wasn't healthy, LeBron gets to come back and end the dynasty once and for all.
I think it comes back to what y'all were talking about earlier. Like, the Lakers, they're a good defensive team.
They really are.
The Warriors just went to game 7 with one of the worst defensive teams in the league. That's bad. And they gassed.
Oh, yeah.
Cam, it was funny when you first said it, but then I really thought about it. They really could sweep them for real. If not sweep them 5, I think 6 is honestly just giving Curry and them their respect. It is what it is. But we know the Warriors, they suck on the road. That game last night and the game tomorrow, those are supposed to be guaranteed wins. And they just gave one up. They gonna at least be down 3-1 at some point, if not swept.
Hopefully.
So I don't think it's crazy to say they'll be swept. The Lakers have the better team. They really genuinely do have the better team.
They do. I'm just praying to God that Anthony Davis Jr. shows up to play. Because he's had great games this postseason, but then he's had the next game, he'll flop and not look like the same player. If he can be that dominant, because the Warriors don't have the size to compete with him. Looney is grabbing those boards. I'll give it to you. But in the same breath that Looney grabbed 23 boards, he only had 10 points. AD went for 30 and 23. So he's outmatched. Draymond, as great of a defensive player as he is,
Bro,
AD is too big for him. He cannot hang with him if AD puts his mind to it. If AD walks out on that court and says, you know what, I am the best player on this court and acts like it, the Lakers are sweeping this Warriors team.
They have absolutely no answer for Anthony Davis. They know that. They know that too. If y'all was watching, you can see in their face. They have absolutely no answer for Anthony Davis.
And LeBron still can't shoot. If LeBron ever just has a good game,
those down.
It's a blowout.
Because they shot bad last night, but they don't always shoot that bad.
That bad. That's why I was thinking, like, the Warriors kept raining threes. I was like, somebody's gonna have to knock down a shot at some point, please. And they still didn't do it, and they still came out with the win. They were not supposed to win that game the way from a stat sheet perspective, but they did. Now, because of media pressure, they might not get as many free throws next game just cause. But regardless, I don't expect the Warriors to shoot that great again. Like, yeah, Steph might get his, Clay might hit some, but for them, like, Jordan Poole, before he shot that last shot, he was shooting 60% from 3. He was 6%. And granted, 2 of those, he just threw them up. And we're like, we're texting the group chat like, what in the world? Like, it's one of them type nights. Like, you can do everything right, and then he does that, and the 3-ball just equalizes everything. But to shoot 53 threes and hit 40%, that's as good as the Warriors get. Like, that's literally vintage Warriors. And the Lakers withstood that. As long as AD controls the paint and LeBron can facilitate D'Lo, D'Lo gonna get his. He was even smoking a few bunnies yesterday that could have had them up way earlier than when they first got the lead. I really think, and I'll say it, I'll call it. I think the Lakers can sweep. Now, like I said, there's that stat I just mentioned earlier where the home team, once they lose game 1, they're undefeated coming back in game 2. But the Warriors played one of their best games, offensively speaking. They have no real answer for AD. As long as the Lakers can just show up with energy and effort, they can easily steal both these games and go home. I think the Warriors spirit will be defeated. And then after that, like I said, they're not a good road team. You can get them up out of here in a sweep. And if they sweep, the dynasty is for sure over. Draymond is for sure gone. Clay might be gone because he wants a max. I don't know if they want to pay him that. Jordan Poole, they're stuck with. But, hey, man, sweep is on the table. I'm just hoping and praying they come ready to play tomorrow.
You know who it's kind of funny I'm about to say this, but you know who they kind of messed up on giving up on? James Wiseman. Because James, okay,
we that though.
Yeah, no, but now it's finally showing
full circle, yeah.
Yeah. And like I didn't really kind of like see it when Bryce was saying about James Wiseman beginning of the year. I was like, bro, James Wiseman not really all that, but he wouldn't stop AD, but he'll be like the body size and the footwork, like he's much faster than Looney is, with his footwork and stuff like that. They tried to even throw Jermichael Green on AD. I mean, too little, too small. But with James Wiseman, I feel like that would have been like a kind of a better. I feel it's still barbecue chicken for Anthony Davis, but I think that would have been like a tougher matchup for him. At least he wouldn't have. I feel like maybe AD wouldn't have 23 rebounds or that much points if Wiseman was there or
because even if Wiseman just comes off the bench, when they sub out Looney, they don't have another big.
Yeah, they don't have another
so
big.
Wiseman would at least be some type of length. And I don't know what it is. They got with Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody. They seem to be good players, but they don't get real opportunities. Kuminga has basically been ghosted for this postseason. There were rumors he was upset on the bench because he's not getting any playing time. Moody got some burn yesterday, but I mean, I don't know. They really could use Wiseman, but at the same time, like I don't know if y'all seen that clip from Kevin Garnett's podcast after Game 7 talking about Looney. I don't think to put it in his exact quote, Wiseman didn't have the balls to be a Looney. Like Looney is a dog. Like he gonna crash the glass for real. I think he's now like 4 or 5 games in a row with 20 plus rebounds. Yeah, like that's crazy. Yeah. Wiseman doesn't have that type of dog mentality. And sure, he could develop it because he's young, but he wasn't showing that, and that's why they moved off of him. But on the flip side, Wiseman is a much more talented offensive player. So where Looney might be able to get you 23 rebounds, like I say, he only able to get you 10 points. Wiseman might
not be able to stop AD at all.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Warriors are completely outmatched everywhere except for point guard and Curry. But with Vanderbilt's length, he can make it really difficult. It made me mad because for a period of time, like Ham was supposed to be matching Vanderbilt's minutes with Curry's, but for like a solid 5-minute stretch, he just let Schroeder play on him, and Curry started kind of heating up. I'm like, bro, Ham, put Vanderbilt back in. Like we just watched Mike Brown put Terrence Davis on Curry and get barbecue chicken for 50 and lose the series. Like, don't do this here. Like, if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so, length, defense, offense, they really can't stop AD. And when LeBron puts his mind to it, they can't stop him. He just would rather settle for 3 for whatever reason. Hopefully he gets out this slump sometime soon. Because he almost made me mad when he pulled up for 3 when they were up 3 with that last possession with 30 seconds, and that was the final shot he chose to take. I was like, you could at least went to the rim, maybe got a foul, but I could have lived with you driving. You really gonna pull up for 3 and you 2 for 9 for the game. And now the Warriors have a real chance to tie it up and send this thing to overtime. But that next possession, this is how I wanted to end it. Was Poole's shot? Do you like Poole's shot there or not?
No.
You don't like Poole's shot?
No, because there was so much space. He could have at least taken one dribble up to the line.
I hear
That
you.
one was deep.
It was.
But he be making them though.
That's what I was gonna say. I was about to provide some stats. Why I'm not mad with that shot at all, especially in the context. So I'm actually add the clip of the shot here so y'all can watch it, and I'll even slow it up so you can see. So I disagree with you, Devin, because if he takes one dribble, then he really gives time for the. But Poole, I disagree with him taking the dribble because Braun's gonna get there, and then Vanderbilt is also coming over from the double off Curry. Another argument people were making, like, oh, it was 10 seconds left. He could have found somebody to pass to. Everybody was covered. And if you start dribbling, looking for someone to pass to, then you give the Lakers the opportunity to just foul you straight up, send you to the line, and you don't even get the chance to attempt the 3. And then third, stats provided for what Chris just said, that's a Poole shot. This season, Poole has shot 183 threes from the range of 27 feet to 30 feet. And he's made 36% of them. That's better than some people's regular 3-point percentage. And I just said before he shot that, he was 6 for 10. 2 of those were complete luck, but he made them. He's 60% from 3 at that point in the game. He's wide open. They just doubled Curry. He had to be that deep initially on the catch because they doubled Curry as soon as he crossed half. If Poole is near any closer to the 3-point line, Curry's not getting that pass over Vanderbilt at that angle. So Poole had to be there. Wide open shot, you'll live with it, especially the way the Warriors were shooting the ball yesterday. I get it. People are like, oh, he should have got it back to Curry. We want Curry taking that shot. As good as Curry is, Curry isn't even top 10 when it comes to making shots within 5 seconds or 1 second left on the clock, especially a 3. His percentage is really bad. So, yeah, you can say Curry needs to take that shot, and we'll live with that, but you probably still be living with the same result if we're going to keep it a buck. It just is what it is. So I can live with Poole taking that. He was the one that was open. Curry was doubled. Clay was covered in the corner. You're not going to pass it to Draymond for that shot. Not going to pass it to Wiggins for that shot. Their third best 3-point shooter, yeah, he missed it. Go to game 1. But they got outplayed so much before that, it shouldn't have had to come down to that. But that's what it came down to. So I can live with Poole taking that shot.
It's a bad shot. It's a bad shot. Simple as that. It's a bad shot when Steph takes it. It's a bad shot when Dame takes it. It's a bad shot. And it's crazy that we kind of think like this now because Steph changed the game so much that we think that's okay. That, guys other than like Steph or Dame to take those shots, it's okay for them to take that shots because, Steph, like I said, Steph changed the game, which is kind of bad for the game in a way because that's not a good shot. Steph did get doubled, but I think Steph passed it to somebody else. And that person swung across to Jordan Poole, who was literally just standing there. If Jordan Poole would have at least came up like a foot or two, because he was beyond even like that little hash right there. So if he just stepped in, because he was just standing there, like he was standing there when the other guy passed it to him. He was just sitting there for some reason. He was just standing there. But if he stepped in like a foot or two, that I feel like that would have been a much better shot, a much more higher percentage shot, in a way. But it's a bad shot. I feel like I said, it's a bad shot when Steph takes it. It's a bad shot when Dame took it. It's a bad shot. I mean, that was like a 30 footer,
It's
30,
like 28 to 30 feet, something in there.
That's a deep shot when he could have, like I said, he could have stepped in just a tad bit more and took that shot. I think it's a bad shot. So
It is, but I think part of the reason we say it's a bad shot or that's the narrative is only because he missed. Even if he was a foot closer, if he missed, people still would have been like, "Why didn't you give it to Curry to take that shot?" It make or break on the make or miss. That's really what it is. He just so happened to miss it. But if he makes it, he's a hero.
yeah, everybody
He
loves
sends
him
it to
for
overtime.
sure.
And I mean, with the way the Lakers were guarding at that point in a frenzy, I get people can say their what ifs like, oh, he could have dribbled, found somebody else, but they were literally glued to Curry. Like there's even still shots of Darwin Ham trying to tell Vanderbilt to come over to come contest Poole's shot. But even though Vanderbilt is heading that way, I think it was him and was it AD maybe that doubled? I don't or D'Lo. I don't know.
AD was like in between. AD was like on a 3-point line closer to Jordan Poole in a way. But like he was kind of like deeper, like in I don't know. It was kind of like deeper down in the area.
I can really look it up on my phone to just watch it right now too. But I don't know who was doubling right now at the top of my head. But whoever doubled with Curry, him and Vanderbilt were both kind of hesitant to leave Curry away because if they all crash towards Jordan Poole and he pump fakes and then swings it back to Curry, now Curry's got the wide open look. So like you live with Jordan Poole taking that shot for the Lakers, but at the same time, the Warriors even said, we'll live with Jordan Poole taking the shot in the same way. Like people, whoever was in the corner was glued to Klay Thompson, doubled Steph. At that point, your best option to shoot the three is Jordan Poole. Yeah, he could have stepped in a foot closer, but regardless, if he misses, people are still mad at him at the end of the day. And it's just like, it is what it is.
But even if he makes it, I feel like it's still because the Dame shot. Do y'all think that?
Now you sound like who was it? Paul George? Who was it?
Yeah, when Paul George said that was a bad, it was a bad shot.
It's not a bad shot if that's the shots that you shoot and that you make.
I understand that, but still, you rather take a 28, 29 foot uncontested jumper rather than like a 23, 24 uncontested jumper.
It wasn't gonna be uncontested though.
It would have been uncontested. If Jordan Poole shot would have been uncontested.
So LeBron wasn't closing out.
Oh yeah, LeBron is like 2 feet from the 3-point line on the catch.
That's what I'm saying. And
if he's closer, LeBron's contesting easily. Even if
he no, but I'm saying is he could have went more to like the left. Like he could have stepped up more.
He could have did a lot of things.
I know. I gotta pull it up right now. So like I said, it's hard because we don't have the clip on the screen, but I'll put it for the podcast. But when Poole catches the ball, Steph passes it to Draymond out the double, and then Poole is kind of standing like a foot in front of Draymond parallel, but like a foot in front. He's still like, because Steph got doubled, like I said, as soon as he crossed out, he got doubled by AD and Reeves. Schroeder was in the corner he was glued to Klay. LeBron, as soon as Draymond catches it and passes it to Poole, Bron is standing at the elbow. The only reason he didn't go out there is because Poole fired the shot so quick, so he turned to go crash the boards. If Poole is any steps closer, Bron is closing out, and then Poole might be forced to dribble and attack and try to kick somewhere else. But realistically speaking, from that moment, with everything going on, I really think that's the best shot they were going to get, like the most open look they were going to get.
But look where he's at, and look why he's like, why are you standing? I'm just saying he could have
He could have stepped up a little bit.
Because he's beyond. He's beyond the hash.
It's not like he don't shoot those shots.
No, I'm saying he definitely shooting, but that doesn't make it a good shot. That's not a good shot selection. I just feel like
you would rather he whatever pump fake, jab, whatever, dribble up, whatever, and shoot a shot over LeBron, a contested shot off the dribble. I don't think
it would have been a contested because
Do you think that he could have got a good shot at all? I don't think he could have got in your definition of a good shot. I don't think he could have got a good shot at all. Any shot he shot was probably going to not be a good shot. That was probably just the lesser of the evils that he could choose out of.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure they shoot way worse in practice. Like that's a game time situation. You practice that. He's shooting that.
That's just I just it's kind of crazy how like literally how stuff changed the way we thinking about basketball. Because back in the day, that's a bad shot. We all know
because nobody
you get it.
like
you
nobody
getting
shooting
pulled.
6 for 10 back in the day except nobody.
Reggie Miller could.
I was gonna say Reggie Miller, but I didn't want to stretch because that's probably on a game to game basis.
It was guys that could shoot lights out back in the day. They just wasn't shooting because the game changed.
Poole, from that range, Poole shot 36% on the season.
That's crazy.
That's better than the league 3-point average, like just threes.
Bro,
I can live with him taking it.
I'd rather he shoot that than try to go in the paint and draw one of the fouls
and do something stupid.
Yeah, or flop and turn the shit over and we don't even get a shot up at all. Or pass it to somebody that's being covered heavy or double team and turn the ball over.
Different views of basketball, that's what I'm gonna say.
Shut up, you old head.
that was an analytical shot. That's what that was.
It was an analytical shot.
That was an analytical shot right there. For sure.
You said
sure.
like player like Dame. Did you think Dame's was a good shot? Yeah, I did. Dame does that. Like on the regular.
That doesn't make it. That doesn't make it.
I thought it was just a prayer. It was just a prayer to me. But since the years have gone on, it was a good shot.
Dame, when he took it, I knew it was good because I don't know. Dame one of the most clutch players. He just hasn't had the team around him, obviously. But I witnessed him, dub the Rockets in the playoffs on a game-winning buzzer beater from 3, and it's like he really does that. And then this year, just even proved more like as soon as he crosses half, he is well in range to hit the 3, and that is the game today. For some people, yes, that is a terrible shot. For people who do it, I live with it. Poole obviously isn't the caliber of Dame or Steph, but Poole, like I said yesterday in the group, that's a Jordan Poole shot. He makes those in games and it pisses you off. He missed it 4 game yesterday and it pisses you off. That's just what you gotta live with Jordan Poole.
I'm just saying from the clip, it looked like he could have at least been at the. If he would have been at the hash, he would have still had a wide open look, and that's better shot, a higher shot percentage shot right there. If he's at least at the hash, he's beyond the hash. I mean, nobody was even like remotely like near him. But like I said, if he would have stepped in just maybe like a foot or two, maybe if it just been at the hash. I mean, you never know. Like I said,
but you never know. Exactly. You never know.
But it's what I'm saying is it's a higher. If he's him at the hash compared to where he shot it at the hash, it's a higher percentage shot. So it's a better shot it's a better chance for him to, make that shot.
I hear you, but at the same time, you got Vanderbilt and LeBron both attempting to close out potentially. They're both 6'9".
He shoots fast though.
He do, but I'm saying like,
bro, when you
the NBA speed is fast. Like if you're not ready to shoot,
he was ready.
No,
that's what I'm saying. But like if you add a dribble to that, like he could have been up closer initially.
Why we adding things?
No, because it's the truth. It's the truth. It's like when the quarterback throw you the ball and you hear the DB footsteps. Dudes,
I'm saying, why are we adding on things? Why can't it just been like a simple catch and shoot like what he did? Like
that's not what it was going to be if he stepped up.
It would have been that.
That's what I'm saying. I think if he steps up any closer, I think LeBron is there. Like LeBron could have got there, but he shot it so quick because he was ready to shoot. LeBron was like, "Let me turn around and go get a rebound," and I just rewatched it.
And LeBron do that too. He let dudes shoot.
He do, but Schroeder has his back turned to the play. That's how much he's face guarding Clay. Jordan Poole's shot clangs off the rim, and Schroeder turns around, and the ball is in his lap. Like there was nobody else open in that situation.
The Lakers designed that defense to leave Jordan Poole open. They knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, both teams live with that, and he didn't make it. But maybe we'll get another game that comes down to that, and Steph will get the shot. And when Steph misses, he deserves the same criticism Poole got. I'm just saying. Because that's what people are really crying about today. Like, we would have wanted Steph to take that. Like, we've watched Steph take those shots and not make them at all. He hit his first, game winner last year in his whole career at the buzzer. I wouldn't expect Steph to hit that in this situation. Like if that was Steph right there, like if Steph and Poole were switched and Steph gets that look, I don't even think Steph knocks that down.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
A
But
bad shot. A bad shot.
Man, let's move on, bro. It's got work.
yeah, that was the last topic, man. I guess we can give her round two. We can just say what teams we think are gonna win. The Nuggets are up 2-0. Like we've been saying, the Suns don't have the depth to win. And now Chris Paul is out for games 3, 4, and 5. The Nuggets can really sweep. I feel like they might not, but it's either a sweep or in 5. I think the Lakers sweep the Warriors as long as they come out tomorrow and play good. If Jimmy's healthy with his ankle, I think they beat the Knicks. And this 76ers Boston series it's a coin flip. I really don't know. I got to see Philly at home and see how they play. Now that Embiid, he's got this first game out his system, see if he can return to somewhat Embiid, because they just got blown out tonight. But I think that's how round 2 will go.
I think I agree.
What about you, Devin? Who you got? You got late. I think you said you got the Warriors, huh? You thought yesterday was a fluke.
No, I said I want the Warriors, not the Warriors. I want the Lakers to win, but I did think yesterday was a fluke, just a little bit.
Okay, so you think the Nuggets pull it out versus the Suns?
Yes.
Knicks Heat. Who you got?
The Heat. Then, like you said, it's a coin flip, but I think Philly's gonna pull it out.
Okay. And Cam, Nuggets, Lakers,
Heat,
Philly, Heat.
Philly Heat. I think Philly pull it
I
off.
want Philly to win that series.
I want Philly to win too. I just have to see it happen.
Yeah. I think they can.
Like,
I'm rooting for Joel for sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm rooting for them, but if it doesn't happen, it's gonna be like in my heart of hearts, I knew this would happen.
Failure season.
But I'm hoping they prove me wrong, and I could be, and then I could be like, oh, the 76ers, they for real. But they gotta show me. But appreciate you listening. If y'all did all the way through, appreciate you for coming on, Devin. We for sure, now that you got your little setup going, we can have you on more and more to talk some NBA. And when NFL rolls back around, we could bring you back on for that, Mr. Carolina Panthers fan. That's his team. So you got
Carolina Panthers.
you got Bryce Young now, so maybe the franchise is looking up. We'll see. But appreciate y'all listening in. Like I said, your favorite kids from the neighborhood signing off. I can't stop this recording. It's on you, Chris. So you got to press stop.
We out.
We out.
Yeah.